Hi everyone. For the final video of this series, I'm going to show you the mystery of the woman clothed with the sun. Now, there are several reasons why this mystery is important. The most prominent is that it automatically dispels two big deceptions that are in play on the earth. One has to do with the rapture of the Christian church, while the other with modern day Israel. So I'm going to start in Revelation chapter 12, and what I'm going to do is break down the symbols for you so that you can understand exactly what's happening here. And there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. And she, being with child, cried, travailing in birth, and pain to be delivered. Okay, so right off the bat, all the language being used here is pointing to the cosmology. So when the passage speaks about this woman being clothed in the sun, with the moon below her feet, and a crown of 12 stars upon her head, the language is telling us where this woman is located prior to giving birth, which is the firmament. And there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and 7 crowns upon his heads. And his tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven, and did cast them to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman, which was ready to be delivered, for to devour her child as soon as it was born. And she brought forth a man-child, who was to rule all nations with a rod of iron, and her child was caught up unto God and to his throne. And the woman fled into the wilderness, where she had the place prepared of God, that they should feed her there 1,260 days. So the man-child is clearly Jesus, which means that the woman clothed with the sun also has an earthly counterpart in the form of Mary, because it was Mary who physically gave birth to Jesus. Now, I want to be clear here. We actually have 2 women, one that resides in the heavenly realm, while the other is on the earth. And what God has done is create a pathway from the heavenly woman to the earthly woman, allowing Jesus to be inserted into the Jewish bloodline without having to be born through Mystery Babylon. Which means that not only is the heavenly woman Jewish, but she's also a city that is equivalent to Mystery Babylon. Now, at the same time, we have the dragon whose tail is clearly in the firmament, because this is where the stars are located, yet his head has to be on the earth, waiting to devour the child as soon as it's born, which means that the dragon's body is also a pathway. And there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels, and prevailed not. Neither was their place found any more in heaven. And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. So war breaks out in heaven, and the result is that the dragon and his angels are cast to the earth. And because the dragon's body is now entirely on the earth, it means that his access to the heavenly realm is at least temporarily cut off. And when the dragon saw that he was cast unto the earth, he persecuted the woman which brought forth the man-child, and to the woman were given 2 wings of a great eagle, that she might fly into the wilderness, into a place where she is nourished for a time and times and half a time from the face of the serpent. And the serpent cast out of his mouth water as a flood after the woman, that he might cause her to be carried away of the flood. And the earth helped the woman, and the earth opened her mouth and swallowed up the flood, which the dragon cast out of his mouth. And the dragon was wroth with the woman, and went to make war with the remnant of her seed, which keep the commandments of God, and have the testimony of Jesus Christ. So immediately after the dragon is cast down, he goes after the woman. But the woman is given 2 wings of a great eagle, that she might fly into the wilderness, where she is nourished for a time and times and half a time from the face of the serpent. Now, according to Revelation 17, the wilderness is also the location of Mystery Babylon, which is why the woman is being given 2 wings of a great eagle so that she can fly there. Bear in mind that the woman has an earthly component as well as a heavenly component, but here it's the earthly component that is being raised up to the realm of the air, so that the dragon's access to the woman is completely cut off. And so his next move is to make war with the rest of her offspring, who keep the commandments of God and who have the testimony of Jesus Christ. So we have 2 groups of people. One is being taken up to the realm of the air, while the other is being left on the earth. And I say this because this event is not the rapture of the Christian church. The rapture occurs just prior to the judgment bowls, when God calls all his people out of Mystery Babylon. And the reason he does this is because the 10 kings have just fornicated with the city, allowing the devils, the foul spirits, and every unclean and hateful bird to ascend into the realm of the air. So the next thing I'm going to show you is these two groups of people in the scriptures, beginning with those who are left on the earth. And unto the angel of the church in Smyrna write, These things saith the first and the last, which was dead and is alive. I know thy works and tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich. And I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. Fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that ye may be tried, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. He that hath an ear, let him hear what the Spirit saith unto the churches. He that overcometh shall not be hurt of the second death. Here we have a letter to the church of Smyrna, forewarning them of their fate. And this letter is one of 7 found in the book of Revelation, with each letter being addressed to a specific church in Asia. Now, the interesting thing about these letters is that out of the 7 churches, there are only 2 that Jesus is pleased with, those being Smyrna and Philadelphia. Bear in mind that we also have 2 groups of people, one who is being raised up to the realm of the air, while the other is left on the earth. And it should be clear from what I've just read that this church Smyrna is a physical example of the later, which means that these are the people who the dragon is going to make war with. Now, I want to focus on this statement. I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. This statement is found twice in these letters, once here, and the other is in the letter addressed to the church of Philadelphia. This statement, if you think about it, has massive ramifications because it's forewarning you that there is a plot on this earth to masquerade as Jews, which means that you should be very wary about anything going on in the land of Israel, especially if it's being touted as the fulfillment of Bible prophecy. And to the angel of the church in Philadelphia write, These things saith he that is holy, he that is true, he that hath the key of David, he that openeth, and no man shutteth, and shutteth, and no man openeth. I know thy works. Behold, I have set before thee an open door, and no man can shut it. For thou hast a little strength, and hast kept my word, and hast not denied my name. Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews, and are not, but do lie. Behold, I will make them to come and worship before thy feet, and to know that I have loved thee. Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. Behold, I come quickly. Hold that fast which thou hast, that no man take thy crown. Him that overcometh will I make a pillar in the temple of my God, and he shall go no more out. And I will write upon him the name of my God, and the name of the city of my God, which is New Jerusalem, which cometh down out of heaven from my God. And I will write upon him my new name. He that hath an ear, let him hear what the Spirit saith unto the churches. So here we have the imagery of the key of David, as well as a door that no man can shut. And because this group of people has kept the word of his patience, Jesus is going to keep them from the hour of temptation, which will come upon the whole world to try them. In other words, this church is the template for those being taken into the realm of the air. And because of this, they will not go through the hour of testing. So according to Revelation 12, the woman is taken up shortly after the dragon and his angels are cast to the earth. And at this point, there is a divergence in the timeline, one pertaining to the woman, while the other relates to the saints who were given into the hand of the pompous horn. And the important thing to realize is that these two timelines meet up again when the 10 kings fornicate with Mystery Babylon. At this point, God calls all his people out of Mystery Babylon, while at the same time he's raising up the dead in Christ, as well as anyone left on the earth still alive in Christ. And it's this event which is the rapture of the church. So, according to Revelation 12, the timeline is 1260 days for the woman clothed with the sun, and it's a time, times, and half a time for her physical counterpart. So what I'm going to do now is skip over to Revelation 13 and show you what the time period is for the saints. And I stood upon the sand of the sea, and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy. And all the world wondered after the beast, and they worshipped the dragon, which gave power unto the beast, and they worshipped the beast, saying, Who is like unto the beast? Who is able to make war with him? And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies, and power was given unto him to continue 42 months. And he opened his mouth in blasphemy against God, to blaspheme his name and his tabernacle and them that dwell in heaven. And it was given unto him to make war with the saints and to overcome them. And power was given him over all kindreds and tongues and nations, and all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose names are not written in the book of life of the Lamb slain from the foundation of the world. So the beast is allowed to continue for 42 months, and it's during this time that the pompous horn is making war with the saints. So the time period for the saints is 42 months. Now, this event is also spoken of in the book of Daniel. So I'm going to start in Daniel chapter 7, and then afterwards I'll show you Daniel chapter 12. Thus he said, The fourth beast shall be the fourth kingdom upon earth, which shall be diverse from all kingdoms, and shall devour the whole earth, and shall tread it down, and break it in pieces. And the 10 horns out of this kingdom are 10 kings that shall arise, and another shall rise after them. And he shall be diverse from the first, and he shall subdue 3 kings. And he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws, and they shall be given into his hand until a time and times and the dividing of time. And here's Daniel chapter 12. And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince which standeth for the children of thy people, and there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time thy people shall be delivered, every one that shall be found written in the book. And many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life, and some to shame and everlasting contempt. And they that be wise shall shine as the brightness of the firmament, and they that turn many to righteousness as the stars for ever and ever. Then I, Daniel, looked, and behold, there stood other 2, the one on this side of the bank of the river, and the other on that side of the bank of the river. And one said to the man clothed in linen, which was upon the waters of the river, How long shall it be to the end of these wonders? And I heard the man clothed in linen, which was upon the waters of the river, when he held up his right hand and his left hand unto heaven, and sware by him that liveth forever, that it shall be for a time, times, and half a time. And when he shall have accomplished to scatter the power of the holy people, all these things shall be finished. So again, it's listed as a time, times, and half a time. Now, the reason why this time period is so important is because it gives us a very good indication of the timing of the end. Namely that from when the dragon and his angels are cast to the earth and the woman is taken to the wilderness, it will be approximately 42 months or 1260 days to the scattering of the holy people. So with that said, what I'm going to do now is take you through the parable of the wheat and the tares. And I do this partly so that you can understand the timing of the rapture, but also because it contains a concept that we need in order to understand something that is written in Luke 17, as well as Matthew chapter 24. Another parable put he forth unto them, saying, The kingdom of heaven is likened unto a man which sowed good seed in his field. But while men slept, his enemy came and sowed tares among the wheat, and went his way. But when the blade was sprung up, and brought forth fruit, then appeared the tares also. So the servants of the householder came and said unto him, Sir, didst not thou sow good seed in thy field? From whence then hath it tares? He said unto them, An enemy hath done this. The servants said unto him, Wilt thou then that we go and gather them up? But he said, Nay, lest while ye gather up the tares, ye root up also the wheat with them. Let both grow together until the harvest, and in the time of harvest I will say to the reapers, Gather ye together first the tares, and bind them in bundles to burn them, but gather the wheat into my barn. So the wheat is gathered into the barn after the tares are bound together in bundles to burn, and the binding of the tares is absolutely a reference to what takes place during the hour of testing. Then Jesus sent the multitude away, and went into the house. And his disciples came unto him, saying, Declare unto us the parable of the tares of the field. He answered and said unto them, He that soweth the good seed is the Son of Man, the field is the world. The good seed are the children of the kingdom, but the tares are the children of the wicked one. The enemy that sowed them is the devil, the harvest is the end of the world, and the reapers are the angels. As therefore the tares are gathered and burned in the fire, so shall it be in the end of this world. The Son of Man shall send forth his angels, and they shall gather out of his kingdom all things that offend, and them which do iniquity, and shall cast them into a furnace of fire. There shall be wailing and gnashing of teeth. Okay, so I've read all of this to show you that the field represents the earth itself. Now, this is important because Jesus uses this word field many times in his parables, particularly when he's speaking about the time of the end. So with this in mind, I'm going to take you over to Luke chapter 17, and then after, I'll show you a similar passage in Matthew chapter 24. Likewise also, as it was in the days of Lot, they did eat, they drank, they bought, they sold, they planted, they builded. But the same day that Lot went out of Sodom, it rained fire and brimstone from heaven and destroyed them all. Even thus shall it be in the day when the Son of Man is revealed. In that day, he which shall be upon the housetop, and his stuff in the house, let him not come down to take it away. And he that is in the field, let him likewise not return back. Remember Lot's wife. Whosoever shall seek to save his life shall lose it, and whosoever shall lose his life shall preserve it. So again, we have two groups of people, one that is taken to the realm of the air, he who is on the housetop, while the other is left on the earth, he who is in the field. So with that said, I'm now going to show you the same account in Matthew chapter 24. When ye therefore shall see the abomination of desolation, spoken of by Daniel the prophet, stand in the holy place. Whosoever readeth, let him understand. Then let them which be in Judea flee into the mountains. Now this term mountains is absolutely a reference to the cosmology. So it's not talking about fleeing to a regular earthly mountain. So again, we have the field, which is the earth. Then we have the housetop, which is in the realm of the air. And finally, we have the mountains, which are overlooking the housetop and the field. Let him which is on the housetop not come down to take anything out of his house, neither let him which is in the field return back to take his clothes. And woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days. But pray ye that your flight be not in the winter, neither on the Sabbath day, for then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. And except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. Then, if any man shall say unto you, Lo, here is Christ, or there, believe it not. For there shall arise false Christs and false prophets, and shall shew great signs and wonders, insomuch that, if it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect. Behold, I have told you before. So we have two warnings. One that is issued to those in the realm of the air, not to go back into the house to take anything at all, while the other is issued to those who are in the field, not to go back to take their clothes. And this word clothes is absolutely a reference to the flesh. In other words, when the angels come to collect those on the earth who are God's, do not turn back to your body when they pull you out of it, or you will perish. And this will be particularly hard for those who are pregnant or nursing small children, and you can understand why. So with this in mind, I'm now going to show you the tail end of Luke 17. I tell you, in that night there shall be two men in one bed, the one shall be taken and the other shall be left. Two women shall be grinding together, the one shall be taken and the other left. Two men shall be in the field, the one shall be taken and the other left. And they answered and said unto him, Where, Lord? And he said unto them, Wheresoever the body is, thither will the eagles be gathered together. So the one that is taken is the spiritual man, while it's the fleshly man that is left behind. Hence, wherever the body is, there the eagles will be gathered together. Now this word eagles is a reference to the angels. And we know this for certain because the specific example that Jesus cites is Lot's wife. And in that example, God sent two angels to bring Lot and his family out of Sodom before telling them to flee to the mountains and to not look back. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to show you is where these two groups of people are being taken. And this you can find in two places. The first is Revelation 14 and the second is Revelation 15. And I looked, and lo, a lamb stood on the Mount Zion, and with him 144,000, having his Father's name written in their foreheads. And I heard a voice from heaven, as the voice of many waters, and as the voice of a great thunder. And I heard the voice of harpers harping with their harps. And they sung as it were a new song before the throne, and before the four beasts and the elders. And no man could learn that song but the 144,000, which were redeemed from the earth. These are they which were not defiled with women, for they are virgins. These are they which follow the Lamb whithersoever he goeth. These were redeemed from among men, being the first fruits unto God and to the Lamb, and in their mouth was found no guile, for they are without fault before the throne of God. And here's Revelation chapter 15. And I saw another sign in heaven, great and marvellous, 7 angels having the 7 last plagues, for in them is filled up the wrath of God. And I saw as it were a sea of glass mingled with fire, and them that had gotten the victory over the beast, and over his image, and over his mark, and over the number of his name, stand on the sea of glass, having the harps of God. And they sing the song of Moses, the servant of God, and the song of the Lamb, saying, Great and marvellous are thy works, Lord God Almighty, just and true are thy ways, thou King of saints. Who shall not fear thee, O Lord, and glorify thy name? For thou only art holy. For all nations shall come and worship before thee, for thy judgments are made manifest. So this sea of glass mingled with fire is also mentioned in Job 37, and there it's a description of the firmament, which means that where this group of people is, it's essentially standing at the foot of God's holy mountain. Now, in the second video of this series, I mentioned how the Song of Moses was given to the Israelites just prior to entering the Promised Land, and it's this song which is being sung here. This is important for a couple of reasons. One being is that it's telling us that the Exodus is the template for the book of Revelation. But instead of thinking horizontally, we need to think vertically, as though the Israelites are ascending the levels of a building, with the wilderness being the equivalent of the realm of the air. Now, the other reason why this is important is because the Bible also tells us that God is going to birth the entire nation of Israel through the woman in a single day. So if we follow the example of the Exodus, we have all the children of Israel standing before the Jordan River, the waters are parted by the Ark of the Covenant, and then the Israelites enter into the Promised Land on dry ground, which is the same imagery as birthing. So with that said, I'm going to show you 2 accounts which speak of this. The first is Isaiah 66, and the second is Isaiah 11. Before she travailed, she brought forth. Before her pain came, she was delivered of a man-child. Who hath heard such a thing? Who hath seen such things? Shall the earth be made to bring forth in one day? Or shall a nation be born at once? For as soon as Zion travailed, she brought forth her children. Shall I bring to the birth and not cause to bring forth, saith the Lord? Shall I cause to bring forth and shut up the womb, saith thy God? Rejoice ye with Jerusalem, and be glad with her, all ye that love her. Rejoice for joy with her, all ye that mourn for her, that ye may suck and be satisfied with the breasts of her consolations, that ye may milk out and be delighted with the abundance of her glory. For thus saith the Lord, Behold, I will extend peace to her like a river, and the glory of the Gentiles like a flowing stream. Then shall ye suck, ye shall be borne upon her sides, and be dandled upon her knees. As one whom his mother comforteth, so will I comfort you, and ye shall be comforted in Jerusalem. So it should be clear from what I've just read, that Zion is the woman clothed with the sun, and she's being used by God to bring all of his people down from the heavenly realm to the earth in a single day. So the next passage I'm going to show you is Isaiah 11, and for the sake of context, I'm going to read verses 6 to 9 first, so that you know that verses 10 through 14 have yet to take place. The wolf also shall dwell with the lamb, and the leopard shall lie down with the kid, and the calf and the young lion and the fatling together, and a little child shall lead them, and the cow and the bear shall feed, their young ones shall lie down together, and the lion shall eat straw like the ox, and the sucking child shall play on the hole of the asp, and the weaned child shall put his hand on the cockroach's den. They shall not hurt nor destroy in all my holy mountain, for the earth shall be full of the knowledge of the Lord, as the waters cover the sea. And in that day there shall be a root of Jesse, which shall stand for an ensign of the people. To it shall the Gentiles seek, and his rest shall be glorious. And it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall set his hand again the second time to recover the remnant of his people, which shall be left from Assyria and from Egypt and from Pathros and from Cush and from Elam and from Shinar and from Hamath and from the islands of the sea. And he shall set up an ensign for the nations, and shall assemble the outcasts of Israel, and gather together the dispersed of Judah from the 4 corners of the earth. Okay, important question. When was the first time that God recovered the remnant of his people? And the answer is, it's when he brought back the captives from Babylon. And given the context of what we just read, there is no possible way that the second time is fulfilled. In fact, if we scroll down to verse 14, it's made clear where the remnant is coming from. The envy also of Ephraim shall depart, and the adversaries of Judah shall be cut off. Ephraim shall not envy Judah, and Judah shall not vex Ephraim. But they shall fly upon the shoulders of the Philistines toward the west. They shall spoil them of the east together. They shall lay their hand upon Edom and Moab, and the children of Ammon shall obey them. So first he gathers together all the outcasts of Israel, and then after, they are flying down onto the shoulders of the Philistines towards the west. Now before I end the video, there is one more account that I want to show you. This one is found in Joshua chapter 3, and it's the moment just prior to the Israelites entering the promised land. And Joshua rose early in the morning, and they removed from Shittim, and came to Jordan, he and all the children of Israel, and lodged there before they passed over. And it came to pass after 3 days that the officers went through the host, and they commanded the people, saying, When ye see the ark of the covenant of the Lord your God, and the priests the Levites bearing it, then ye shall remove from your place and go after it. Yet there shall be a space between you and it, about 2,000 cubits by measure. Come not near unto it, that ye may know the way by which ye must go, for ye have not passed this way heretofore. So everything in this passage is a physical example of what takes place in the book of Revelation, and it's there to show you what you must do. So when you see the ark of his testament and the priest bearing it, go after it, but leave a space between you and them. Now you can find the specific reference to the ark being seen in heaven in Revelation 11, while the priests, they're the 144,000 who are standing with the Lamb on Mount Zion, and they're not permitted to enter the temple until after the judgment bowls are poured out. So that's it for this series. I hope this information has blessed you, that it's strengthened you, and that when you see all these things taking place, you'll now have sufficient understanding to see through the deception. And on that note, thanks for watching.